Hey guys, my name is Becky with All Aspects Restored and Recycled in Mount Bethel, Pennsylvania. And this video is to show you guys how to prep your pieces to paint when using mineral chalk paint. So today we have a set of nightstands, and the first step really is to go ahead and put your hand over top of these pieces. This one we've actually already sanded a little bit, and this is how we got the piece in. So where the mineral chalk paint companies boast that there's no prep and no sanding, it's very rare that something comes in the shop and it doesn't need a little something done to it. For the most part, cleaning is key, and that's going to be really the focus of this video today, is how you can clean your pieces. But sometimes pieces do need to be sanded as well, or at least roughed up a little bit. In this case, when these nightstands came in, when I run my hands over top, I can really feel that the poly and the stain and just life in general with these pieces has really taken a little bit of wear and tear. So if I were to just paint over this, I'm still going to not have a smooth surface. But how we would go ahead and do that, step one really would be to go over your piece with your hand. I'll use this one because it hasn't been touched. And when you feel it, if you can feel that it's indented and that really it's not a smooth surface, we would highly recommend that you would first go over it with 150 grit sandpaper. And I really should say that this is what I do and what works for us, and that this series of videos that we're doing is really for our customers so that we can give you tips and tricks. It's not what everyone may say, but it's what works for us. So what I did on this one is went over it with my orbital sander with 150 grit, and now it's completely smooth and ready to be sanded. You could also go over it with a 220 if it doesn't need a lot. Once it's been sanded and you put your hand on top of it and it feels nice and smooth, then we can go ahead and we can clean it. Again, you don't have to fully strip things, you just want to make sure you have a nice smooth surface to paint on. With cleaning, I kind of pulled my top 3 favorites because so often we asked, what do you clean with and really why? And the answer to that is these pieces have gone through life of God only know what's on them. This one's got a sticky residue on there. People could have cleaned with an oil-based cleaner like Pledge. And so your paint, if you go ahead and just paint on this, what's going to happen is the paint is going to adhere to the dirt and the grime and not directly onto the wood. So we do want to clean with a nice, smooth, clean surface. Kind of my top favorites are, this is actually in here, I have low odor mineral spirits. This is one option. I love using Crud Cutter. This is the second option. And this right here is Dixie Belle's White Lightning, which has trisodium phosphate in there. And this is actually a concentrate and something that we sell here at the shop. So we use a clean empty water bottle and we mix the Dixie Belle White Lightning concentrate, which again has the TSP in it, in with water, and would use a shop towel to clean. So these are really 3 different options that you can use. And again, it's always good to just rough up your surface a little bit. We started by taking the hardware off before even sanding this up. So take your hardware off, put that in a safe place. We have a nice smooth surface. I poured a little bit of the mineral spirits into the rubber cup here, and I'm actually just going to use these sponges that have, it's like a Brillo on one side and a sponge on the other. So again, paint is really going to adhere best if it has a little bit of a roughened up surface a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to use the mineral spirits and just really get this piece really clean. And again, the reason why you're cleaning your piece prior to painting is just where, although you need minimal prep with the chalk paint, the more that you prep the piece, and take a little bit of time just to really prepare to paint, then the better outcome that you'll have. This one had like specks of paint on here, and just by using the Brillo pad part of the sponge, it's coming right off. cleaned with mineral spirits. And now I'm gonna give it a minute and then we're gonna just wipe it off with a shop towel and some just clean water. Okay, this piece has been cleaned using the mineral spirits. After you clean your piece with either the mineral spirits, the TSP, or the white lightning cleaner, you want to make sure to go back over the piece with a wet rag. This is actually a shop towel. You can use a lint-free towel. What we've done is just put warm, clean water, and I'm just going to go back over it. So this was cleaned with the mineral spirits, and there's a residue just kind of that goes over it as the mineral spirits evaporate and the kind of the oils come to the surface of the piece. So I'm just going to go back over it. This is just water. Get it all cleaned up here. Alright, and just to wrap up the importance of prep, this piece has been prepped to paint. This piece hasn't. And look at the difference. So wouldn't you rather paint on a nice smooth surface that's really clean versus one that's got, you know, peeling poly and stain and a lot of dirt and grime and stickiness? So our paint is going to much better adhere to a piece that's been sanded over. And again, you don't have to strip it. You can just lightly sand your piece just to kind of give the paint something to adhere to. And then we fully cleaned the piece and then gone over with our shop towel and actually wiped it back down with some water just to make sure it's fully got all the wax and residue and even the cleaning product off of it. So this guy will dry for about 30 minutes and then he's ready to be painted.